What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be going over some characters that I really want to see inside of Marvel Rivals. But before we do that, you guys absolutely blew the support out of the water. I was expecting 650 subscribers by the end of this month, and you guys went and hit 1,000 last night. I don't really know what to say. This is the first big milestone that I guess the first is 100, but the second is 1,000, and I just want to say thank you for all the support you've shown me lately. Since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to do superhero content or do something with superheroes. I love this medium of fiction. It's gotten me through so many personal things in my life, and the fact that I can make a channel and you guys can be supportive of something that I'm so passionate about has been really inspired to keep going and pushing and making better content for you guys. So to see the success that I'm having lately, that little kid wearing that Spider-Man costume when I was 5 years old, thanks you guys, because this is a dream come true for me, and I'm gonna keep going and trying to make you guys proud. So with that being said, 97% of you guys actually aren't subscribed. The new goal for the month is going to be 1,200. If you could help a kid reach his dreams, still try to be one of the biggest superhero YouTubers on this platform, that would mean everything to me. I got something planned for you guys. I'm going to be doing a giveaway soon, probably giving away a copy of Spider-Man 2. So if you guys are interested in that, once we reach 5,000 subscribers over here, I'll be giving away a copy of that game. Thank you guys for all the support lately. Leaving a like on this video would help it reach other superhero fans, and we can start a community here on YouTube. Also, it's important for me to say, guys, the Deadpool art for my thumbnail yesterday came from the amazing Nakani Art on Twitter. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but she's the one who made the art for the Deadpool concept in Marvel Rivals. So everybody go show her some love, give her a follow on Twitter, because she made one of my most viral videos possible by creating some really cool Deadpool art for me to use in my thumbnail. So everybody please go show her some love. She's really cool, and I really appreciate the art she makes. All right, that's a good way to segue into the first hero that I want to see in this game, and that is Deadpool. I think having Deadpool in this game would be really cool. I think he would obviously have to be a duelist, but as far as his abilities are concerned, you could implement gunplay and swordplay. I haven't had all the abilities thought out for every character, but I have some general ideas thought out. Maybe his ultimate could be something like McCree's from Overwatch, or like the Red Dead Redemption Deadshot mechanic, where he locks on to multiple targets and does an insta-kill headshot to them. Like I said, he could have a mix of both melee combat and gun combat, with one of the two being on a cooldown and one of them being his primary source of damage. Maybe a quick slash with his sword for some burst damage, or you could have an ability where he shoots an SMG for like 3 seconds and it does a lot of damage on one target. Either way, I think Deadpool needs to be in this game, especially considering his popularity as of late. The next character right behind Deadpool is Miles Morales for me. I think you could go two ways with Miles. You can either make him a duelist or you can make him a support. For the concept of this video, I'm going to go the support route. You could have his camo to keep himself alive, and maybe he's a melee based healer. Maybe his swing cooldown is a lot less than Spider-Man, so he can stay alive and get to targets to heal them fast. Maybe give him some sort of web bomb that can heal allies. Maybe with his bioelectric abilities, he can have a stun where he can go up and stun somebody by electrocuting them for a second. And maybe his ultimate could be something like armor that he webs on everybody that gives them damage reduction for like 15 seconds. Either way, it'd be really cool to have a Spider-Man character in the healer slot. Alright, next up for me would definitely be Dr. Doom. Now you could go the tank or the duelist route. For sake of diversity here, I'm gonna go the route of a tank. I think a really cool concept you could do for Dr. Doom is kind of make him a minion-based character. Maybe he could have minions that he sends out that don't have much health, but they do different things. Maybe one protects allies, one does damage, they can put up shields. I think that would be a really unique idea for a character like him. And I think his ultimate could be some type of mind control, where he casts it on an enemy player and it inverts their controls, or he can take control of one of the enemy players for a time being. I think that's a really cool concept, and it would definitely fit Dr. Doom. I think that would be dope to see. Alright, next up on my list, I have Daredevil. Daredevil would definitely be a duelist, and he would definitely be a melee-based character. I think you could do something similar to Sombra, where she can see people through walls that could be like a sonar pulse that he has. That can definitely play off the way that he sees the world in the comics and how he uses his hearing. I think he could be a combo-based character like Spider-Man. And I think his ultimate could be something similar to Iron Fist, where he's not a lock-on melee hero, but when you pop his ultimate, he can see the whole enemy team through walls, and he can lock on to targets and do increased damage. I don't know, it was kind of difficult to think of an ultimate for Daredevil for me, but if you guys have any cool ideas in the comments, please leave them down below. Alright, next up we have Thanos. Thanos would probably definitely be a tank. I think he'd be all about taking control. His abilities kind of write themselves. You could use the Infinity Stone to do different things, like the Power Stone, Time Stone, stuff like that. And they could have different powers that they give Thanos. His ultimate would be the Snap, but I think a good way to balance it is anybody that's in a certain radius of Thanos when he does the Snap would get instantly killed. But it should take him about 3 to 4 seconds to kind of charge it. So it would be similar to Wanda's ult, except Thanos can't move when he's using it, and the radius is a lot bigger than Wanda's. But to counter that, it would have a long charge up time. Alright, next up I have Nightcrawler, and I think you can make Nightcrawler a support. His abilities could revolve around using his portals to help get teammates in and out of safety. He could also use those portals to reposition enemy players into bad positions. And that way he can move around the battlefield really quickly, getting from target to heal them. His ultimate could be he can pick 1 or 2 targets to bring into an alternate dimension with him, where he has very increased health and damage, and he can keep them separated from the team fight for a certain amount of time. Alright, next up on my list would be Green Goblin, and I think he would play a lot like Junkrat from Overwatch, where his bombs would kind of work like Junkrat's grenade launcher. He'd be a very explosive centered character. His ultimate could be maybe he gets on his glider and he can dash through the enemy team while throwing bombs, doing AoE damage, and if you get hit by his glider, it also damages you. I don't know, I think it would be really cool to see Green Goblin in this game, and I think his character offers some really cool opportunities for kit building, and you could do some really cool stuff with his abilities. And for example, like with his glider, you could do something like Star-Lord's boots, where he can fly for a certain amount of time, but it's on cooldown so he can't abuse it. Alright, next I have Quicksilver, and it's kind of hard to balance a speedster in any game. I think that's why we don't really see that many in superhero game media, because it's kind of hard to think of abilities that would be balanced and make sense for a game, especially in a PvP hero shooter. But I think you could have something like a meter where the more kills he gets builds up his speed, with his attacks increasing in speed the more damage he does. His ultimate could slow down time and allow him to only pick off certain targets. I don't know, it's really hard to think of concepts for speedsters because they're really hard to design in video games. So I understand if we don't see him, but having a speedster in the game would be really cool, especially if they figure out how to pull it off. Alright, next for me, I have Cyclops. I think Cyclops would be a duelist, and I think his character really just has a lot of opportunities to have some really cool abilities. Obviously, you would center it around his heat vision. Maybe have abilities that increase the damage of it for a certain amount of time. Maybe he can have an ability where he can split his beam and target multiple targets at once. And his ultimate could be something where he takes off his glasses and loses control and does a lot of damage to a couple targets for like 5 seconds. I don't know, the possibilities are just endless with Cyclops, and I think they could do some really cool things with his heat vision. You can maybe do something like Echo's Beam for Overwatch, where he has a passive where the longer he's focused on one target, the more damage he does to them. And it'd be really cool just to have more X-Men representation in this game. Alright, last but not least, I have Taskmaster, and I think he can be a support. I think he can use his utilities to heal people, and depending on what heroes you have picked with him and against him, he gets the abilities of those characters. I think that'd be a really cool concept, so depending on what team comps you have, determines what abilities Taskmaster gets. And he can pick what abilities he wants. Maybe he can only have 2 or 3 at one time, but he can have any ability from any of your teammates and kind of build your own kit. A way to make sure this is balanced is when he takes the abilities from his teammates, he doesn't get the full ability, maybe only part of it, so there's still reasons to play the other heroes, but he can just take some of the parts of other abilities and kind of combine them. His ultimate, I would have said, would be what Loki's is, but Loki already has that. So I don't know, his ultimate is kind of up in the air for me. If you guys could leave down in the comments what you think a good idea would be for that, feel free, because I have no idea what I would make his ultimate personally, but I think my ideas for his kit would be really cool. So that's my list of the top 10 characters I want to see in Marvel Rivals. Again, thank you guys so much for the support lately. It means the world to me, and I'm going to keep grinding out these videos for you guys, and I'm going to have some really cool projects in the works, like I said. Thank you guys for sticking around. If you want to see more Marvel Rivals content, please consider subscribing and leaving a like on this video. I love you guys so much. Peace out.